Question number 10. Child is 30 months old and not talking. They just started ABA and the child's starting to do more vocal imitations. The one question is, when will my child be able to talk? The research is very clear. When you start ABA treatment, if your child starts developing vocal language within the first 6 to 9 months, it's a very good indicator of their ability to reach typical functioning. But the question is very broad, like, oh, what do you mean by talk? Do you mean speaking words? Do you mean speaking sentences? Do you mean actually using that in conversation and being able to have a dialogue back and forth with someone else? The short answer is nobody knows. And if somebody tells you exactly like, oh, by this time, you're like, they're selling you something, okay? The thing is that what you're doing in ABA is setting the conditions. You're creating an environment that's going to be conducive for them to develop their language. And that's all that you're doing. The rest is on the child and their capabilities. If you can imagine, you're a farmer, okay? And you're creating an environment that's going to be conducive to your crops growing, right? And so what you're trying to do is set up the optimal environment for your crops to grow big and healthy, right? But some stuff is just outside of your control, you know? And so all you can do is set up the environment to be as conducive as possible to foster their language. And that's what you're trying to do. The rest is on your child. The second question is, how do I teach verbal skills to my child, okay? And this is almost like a complete series of streams all devoted to language development. All I can tell you, start small, okay? If they don't imitate sounds, get them to imitate sounds first. When they're good at imitating sounds, then having them put sounds together to form words. When they can form words, you're going to work on building sentences. And it's a very stepwise progression in terms of developing their vocal ability. You have to teach every aspect of language, meaning like, oh, you have to teach them object labels, action labels, colors, shapes. Every aspect of language needs to be taught. And so you just start with the basics and you just teach it step by step by step.